Welcome to Hops News, the trusted source in beer culture news. Here's your host, Jay Brew, with special guests, the Hoppy Mommy, Lucky, and Mash.
Hey, we're back at it. We've got the band back together. It's great to see you guys. How's the pandemic and the quarantine and returning back to a normal life treating you guys?
I feel like nothing's really returned yet.
Here.
Yeah? Wow.
We're back to normal, baby.
Nice.
I feel like we're still just talking. I mean, we're on phase one, but, there's talks of now Disney opening next month and downtown Disney's open. So we're just, I feel like, talking about being normal. We're not really normal yet.
Is Florida ever normal, though?
Yeah, we were just talking about that before we come on. I'm getting ready to crack open the
nice crisp.
this is straight from the Hoppy Mama. Florida man.
Florida man. They even get their own beer after them. I'm petitioning for Idaho, man.
Well, I love the description of it. It's like if you have forgotten more about wrestling gators than most people know, you might be a Florida man. And my first thought was, well, if you get attacked by a gator, you should stick your fingers in its nose. Like, how many people know that?
I thought it was up its ass. We're all better
for it now. I honestly had no idea.
Yeah, so that's what you do.
Yeah. So let's get to what we have coming on, because I think we still have. Hopefully, they're still on, right? We've got a John Prine type of show tonight. Obviously, if anybody's familiar with John Prine, will know that he recently passed due to COVID-19. So we'll have a show dedicated to him, and he'll be rolling in the background as we carry on here. We're going to have a couple of guys from Athletic Brewing Company on that join us, talk to us a little bit about what they're doing. Kind of unique in that they're brewing non-alcoholic beer, which probably, if you think about it, 2 years ago, it probably wasn't a big thing, but where the fitness craze is right now and how involved breweries are becoming in that fitness craze, I think they definitely have got a market for that. They're also going to tell us a little bit about a fundraising that they're doing for Restaurant Employee Relief Fund, and we do have the donate button up there. You're welcome to go ahead and toss some coins in that tip jar for them. Probably if there's one industry that's been hit the hardest out there, it's definitely the restaurant employees. Most of the restaurants that I know of around here just laid people off. Really didn't go after the loans to protect them much, but definitely provide and throw in some change in that tip jar if you can, because that's a great organization. We'll hear what Athletic Brewing is to work with them. We'll also have I guess it's kind of our second episode of Beer School, our second edition of Beer School. We started at the 420 week where we talked a little bit about 420 beers. We'll continue that. We're also going to celebrate barbecue and talk a little bit about barbecue because it is Memorial Day week, or the week of Memorial Day. And we'll have, obviously, the standard hops news, talk a little bit about beer news. John Prime, as you hear in the background, he's kind of an iconic singer. I don't know how familiar any of the other three were to John Prime before I mentioned it, but if you heard his voice, if you heard his voice and knew who it was, you probably knew who it was every time you heard it after. He's kind of iconic and got a voice that many people never forget. And we'll also do our standard bomber jacket. This one's kind of cool. Craft.
Can I go in for myself? I kind of want that.
It's pretty sweet. And I will tell everybody, this is not your standard koozie. Bomber jackets are pretty sweet. And this is probably the coolest one that we've given away. So that's up for grabs. We'll give that away at the end of the show to some lucky winner. I don't know who it's going to be or how we'll decide, but we'll figure it out about halfway through. What are you guys drinking?
Ooh, save it. We got Space Wizard going on.
Yes.
Makes me
Nice.
feel
That's
one
from
part
Orlando,
Gandalf,
Florida.
next part Dr. Seuss.
got one from you,
Orlando.
Joe.
Hoppy.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Now I feel like I should be drinking one of the beers you guys sent me. I'm actually drinking Calusa Zote IPA. It is everything from this brewery. Everything from this brewery is amazing.
What's the name of it?
They're awesome. Calusa. It's on the west coast of Florida by Sarasota. My mom lives over there, and now that they're doing the to-go orders, I just put in an order, paid for it online, and she just picked it up. So I hope they do that forever because that's amazing.
I gotta say, the online to-go orders has been the best thing to come out of breweries during this whole entire pandemic. Being able to be like, hey, I'm gonna go online, it's Amazon Prime, and I'm gonna pick up my beer in 10 minutes or whatever tomorrow. It's the greatest thing on earth.
Especially when you have kids, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this whole pandemic's kind of changed some things up. Let's see if our callers are still there. Hey, are you guys still hanging on hold there?
Yeah, we're here. How's it going?
Good. How about you guys? What are you guys sipping on over there tonight?
I've got one of our golden ales.
Nice.
Yeah, and I get a free wave double IPA.
Very nice. So tell us a little bit about, well, first tell us who we have on the call. I think we scrolled across a little lower third there that kind of gave us your names, but tell us who you are so we kind of recognize the voice behind the name and how you got started in the beer, and then give us kind of a little bit of background of Athletic Brewing.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for having us on. This is Bill. I'm one of the co-founders, and this is John. The other co-founder. Yeah, and we really got started. I mean, we're both craft beer lovers with different beer stories. John is a longtime, super talented head brewer. He was at 2nd Street in Santa Fe. I was previously just a craft beer lover. I'm not skilled at much of anything. But I was cutting back my drinking, and I guess kind of the whole story behind our company simmers down to the beer world, wine world is amazing. And there's such the world's a stressful place. The beer world is incredible. And they're great beer occasions. But we really wanted beer that fit into more days of the week and more hours of the day. And so we wanted to make great non-alcoholic beer that you could drink during the week and feel good, or drink before you had to drive, or have in between rounds, or with your family and stuff. So, we wanted to elevate non-alcoholic.
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is there any way you guys could send some beer to us? Because I would love to be able to just hammer some beers on Thursday nights when we do Hoppy Hour and not wake up regretting it going to work Friday morning like I do every week. I'm getting kind of that age when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, man, I just should not have done that. This is going to be a long morning, but I can definitely relate to your customer base.
Well, now since it's non-alcoholic, are you allowed to ship it to people?
I think you can buy it from the store.
Yeah, can you buy it online and like can?
Exactly. Yeah. Since it's non-alcoholic, we're not beer or alcohol by the federal definition, so we do ship nationally off our website.
Oh, that's awesome.
We should have known. I wish I'd known that a week and a half ago.
I know. I'm gonna have to.
Sorry, we'll definitely send you some out.
Yeah.
Oh no, we'll send it. Super easy.
So where's your brewery located at?
John?
Yeah, so we are the place we built originally is in Stratford, Connecticut, and then we also just opened a brewery in San Diego, California. So we've got bi-coastal breweries right now.
Man, so you guys are on both the coasts, and that's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
so,
question, super fortunate.
Connecticut, Yankees or Mets?
Is that baseball?
Yeah.
Red Sox here.
Red Sox.
Well, hey, Red Sox. I'm a Boston kid. There we go.
Nice. Yeah, I grew up on the Cape in the summer.
So, John,
nice.
John, how was it that you got started in the beer, and what was the road that got you to where you're at today with founding the company with Bill?
My start with beer was simply in food and beverage. I grew up in it, and I was living in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and a friend of mine and my wife told me that I should go take over this brewing job. And, I said no a couple times, that I couldn't afford it, and they encouraged me to do it, and it just turns out that I kind of fell in love with it. And it was like going to school again, but it was just way more fun, and the community was far better, and it was just exciting. So I got into brewing there, and I spent 7 years brewing in New Mexico before I met Bill, and really kind of dug the passion and the mission behind the company, and the vision for just making a really great quality non-alcoholic beer that you can have anytime. And it also sounded like a challenge to really showcase the ingredients that we all love, but in a different format. So I was sold.
Now, do you guys, like if you go to another brewery in San Diego, do you have your beers on tap at other breweries as well as your own brewery?
So we have a tap room in Connecticut, and so we're open on the weekends, and we do carry out, and we have, we can pour beer there. San Diego is just recently online, and we don't have any retail or storefront there yet. We kind of pummeled through the pandemic with an incredible team building out that brewery, and so we're just getting going out there. But we really hope to be, having beer on draft all about the country.
Okay. I love the idea of being able to have some of, the high ABV, IPAs or stouts, and then mix it up with something lower ABV so I don't feel like garbage, or if I need to drive, that's nice to be able to mix it up and still have some flavor in your drink and not be drinking just water.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it makes, I still enjoy great beer, but it makes a huge difference, and I can just enjoy more hops all the time.
Yeah.
So is it different in how you guys brew the beer then, since it's non-alcoholic? Is there anything different than let's say we brew a normal IPA? Is there anything you guys take out, leave out, things like that?
No, not really. I mean, we come up with our own unique process. It's, a mosaic of different steps in the traditional brewing process that kind of give us our unique and distinct beer flavor in non-alcoholic form.
Oh, awesome.
That is pretty cool. So it's kind of more like a low ABV kombucha, maybe, as far as the brewing process. I know nothing about brewing, though. I try to brew my own beer.
You're right in that everything's under 0.5% and, really healthy, not unlike kombucha, so just right along those lines.
Awesome.
So we understand that you guys are working with the Restaurant Employees Relief Fund and kind of doing some fundraising with them or for that organization. Tell us a little bit about how you guys got started in that and kind of maybe some background and how involved you guys are with your local community and some other things that you guys may have done with the community.
Yeah, so I mean, in the great craft beer world, the on-premise bars and restaurants do so much for our community, building it up, and so many of our life special occasions or just happy hours are all over the community at bars and restaurants. And I feel like we as a company felt like they were disproportionately affected by the COVID crisis. And even though we're just a small company, we wanted to do our part to help the community where we could. And so we started donating 10% of sales to the National Restaurant Association Restaurant Relief Fund. That goes 100% of proceeds go right to those employees affected. And so we originally started without a goal, and we actually just hit 100,000 donated. So we're super excited about that.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That was your goal, wasn't it? Originally, 100K, I believe, was your goal initially.
Yeah, originally it was way smaller, and we just decided to kind of go big and see what kind of impact we could have. So yeah, we're super excited to donate 100 grand.
Awesome. That is incredible.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. So what size, how many barrels of beer are you guys brewing a year right now? Just trying to get an idea of how big your brewery is.
Yeah, in Connecticut we did about 10,000 last year. At our facility out west, we could do about 10 times as much beer as that if we needed to. But our goal is to grow into this facility over time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we brew 20 barrel. We have a 20 barrel brew house with 40 barrel and 100 barrel fermenters on the East Coast, and we have a 100 barrel brew house with a 200 barrel whirlpool out here. So we're going to be going into anything from 100 to 300 barrel tanks out here.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's pretty good size. Yeah, that's impressive, and to raise that kind of money for such an important organization. We talked a little bit about it before we brought you guys into the conversation, but restaurant employees, I don't think that there is a state in the country right now that restaurant employees haven't been affected. It's a tremendous problem. So seeing that you guys are raising that kind of money for them definitely speaks a lot to your commitment to that industry. So appreciate you guys doing that for sure. And anybody that's joined us on the stream, any of the viewers, we do have a donate button there for that relief fund for restaurant employees. If you so feel, drop a handful of change or whatever it is you can in that tip jar, because they would definitely appreciate it. And it goes right to them. We've messaged them. I've talked to them through the chat. It doesn't say the relief fund on there, but they did verify that 100% of the donations to that organization that's listed there goes to that relief fund. So if you're so inclined, definitely we appreciate it. And I know those employees that get that money would definitely appreciate it. John and Bill, if we walked into one of your tap rooms and we bellied up to the bar next to you, what are you going to pour us?
I would probably pour you I'd probably go with the Run Wild IPA, and then maybe kind of branch out and go fun and do our Downwinder Goza, which is a limited offering we're doing right now.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty interesting. A Goza, man, that's something, a non-alcoholic Goza. I might go through gallons of that.
It's very easy.
Yeah, especially on these hot summer days that we have coming up. That could cost me a lot of money in beer.
It's like the most refreshing thing ever.
Yeah, nice. We definitely appreciate you guys joining us. What's one thing that you want anybody that's watching to know about what you guys are doing in the beer industry and kind of the direction that we should expect to see you guys moving in the market?
Just beer can be great for 7 nights. You don't have to narrow it down to 2 nights. We're just trying to help grow the beer industry in a new direction and introduce more people to beer. So, John, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think that's about it. We're just, making the same thing in a different way with the same great ingredients. and just really embracing the community that has helped make craft beer what it is today. Growing with it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I definitely love your guys' approach. I hope to hear more marketing like that. Beer can be more than just a couple of days a week. It can be a 7-night-a-week occasion, because if we had our choice, we would definitely make that for us. So appreciate you guys. Appreciate that marketing strategy that you're doing. The 1 night a week for me is enough, but if I could get some beer like that and do it 7 nights a week, we would definitely have a party going on. Gentlemen, we appreciate your time and appreciate what you guys are doing for the restaurant industry. And thank you for joining us for our episode of Hoppy Hour this evening.
Yes, thank you. Cheers.
Thank you guys so much.
Yes, cheers. Appreciate you guys. Have a good night.
Thanks for having us on. Have a great night. Thanks.
Cheers.
Later.
So I'm confused. Are we not supposed to be drinking 7 nights a week?
Well,
I mean, just
it's a
days that
pandemic
ended
exception,
at least, right?
Right.
Pandemic exception, I believe.
I try not to, but then it's like minor life inconvenience. It's like, oh shit, I guess.
I think that's only when you're homeschooling.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
No, I would love to mix it up on a bar crawl day with a non-alcoholic, so you're not forced to drink water. I think that's a great idea. I'd love to see their beers in all sorts of breweries.
Oh, absolutely. Non-alcoholic is great, because then you can just you think of how many pranks you can play. Non-alcoholic, it's like, oh, the kid's carrying one around. Don't worry, it's non-alcoholic. I would do some dumb stuff like that. I'd crack one open at work, knowing me, and just lead a whole bunch of. I would just do so much dumb stuff. But that's such a great idea, like non-alcoholic. Because how many people want to be drinking beers? You can't necessarily, but you get still the same vibe from a brewery. That's like, hey, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna play whatever games they have. I'm gonna hang out with my friends.
Right.
It's just in a general environment, so it's really great to see something like that popping up and becoming so popular.
Right. Well, and with so many beers now being, 8%, you go into a brewery and all the beers are high ABV, and then you're like, oh, I got to drive home and I only had 2 beers and I got a buzz.
You have like one imperial stout, and that's like, oh my god. And for me, I may be 6'4", but I still am a lightweight. I'll drink, 1 or 2 of those. And I'm like, oh man, life is all right now. This is great. It's like, oh shit, should not be grabbing my keys. Here, you drive.
Right. Fortunately, my husband's not a big drinker. He drives, I drink.
Unfortunately, that's kind of how it is in the household here. Shout out to my wife. She's the one that usually drives. God bless her soul.
Are you guys looking forward to your kids being able to drive? That was the one thing my mom.
I have a kid that can drive.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I do. She doesn't have a license yet, just her permit, because the insurance is going to skyrocket as soon as she gets her license. But she's definitely driven me when I wouldn't get trashed in front of her, but yeah, definitely. She's driven me around to go pick up beer too during this pandemic. It's the only time she can practice.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in the car with her, so she just has a permit, whatever.
Yeah. No, I kept saying, like, oh, now that she can drive, you're driving home from Epcot, but I don't want her driving home on I-4, so that hasn't happened yet. But a mom can dream one day.
Florida drivers are awesome.
No, we're the best. It's all the people who visit, the tourists, who aren't good, and we have to weave around them because they don't know what they're doing.
But yet they all have Florida license plates.
They're snowbirds. They leave their cars here, and so they have a plate here and one up there. No, the worst is when they start driving and it rains and they turn their hazards on. It's like you're not supposed to do that.
I've seen that on I-10 so many times.
It's terrible.
All right, we got another segment coming up here in just a second. If anybody out there is listening to us and watching us, feel free to share us, tag us, invite your friends. We've got the beer school coming up here shortly in just a second. We'll learn a little bit more about some beer. Should be good. So we'll have that coming up in just a second. So share us, tag us, give us another a follow on our social media accounts would be great. Instagram, Twitter, whatever it is that you may have out there. Facebook, invite your friends, because we would definitely appreciate it. And next up we have our beer school.
Look, I graduated high school 10 years ago.
That's it. All right. So last week we talked a little. Oh, wait, I have to put on my glasses for school.
Uh-oh.
Last week we talked a little bit about Yeah, marijuana beer. So we're actually going to keep it in the realm of smoke, but this week we're actually going to talk about smoked beer. Again, I'm giving you the caveat. I am not an expert. Feel free to call me out. Feel free to contribute, or just tell us what your favorite smoky beer is. Or if you hate smoky beers, you can tell us that too. Now, according to the Beer Judge Certification Program, there's 3 types of smoked beers. The first one is called a Rauchbier, which literally translates to smoke beer from the Germans. To explain why the beer gets smoky or how the beer gets smoky, you get a little bit of actual beer education as far as the brewing process. So to make beer, you need water, hops, malt, and yeast. Malt is what you get after you soak the grain in water to basically get it ready to be converted to fermentable sugars, which is essentially how you make beer. For centuries, though, the malt was dried either in the sun, which took forever, or over fire. So that's where you get your smoky taste, was when they would dry the malts over the fire. Now, when the wood would burn in the fire, the flavor would stick to the water and the actual grain, which gives it the smoky flavor. Now, in the 18th and 19th century, here comes Industrial Revolution, and they introduced the kiln, and drying malt over fire was no longer needed, and a lot of brewers abandoned it because they weren't necessarily a fan of the smoky flavor. However, there were 2 breweries in Germany that still to this day brew this actual Rauchbier. So the Rauchbier is actually a category all on its own, because the Germans have to have their own category for everything in beer that's all their own. And it is a beechwood smoked Marzen, so think like Oktoberfest. And it falls under an amber malty European lager, so very specific. Ooh. So this smoky beer was seen as a necessity, but not necessarily a preference, which is why it kind of got phased out, and you only see it at 2 breweries now. Now, in the late 80s, a brewery in Alaska called Alaskan Brewing, they're very popular, I'm sure a lot of people have heard about them, brewed a smoked porter. Well, we're out, and Michael Jackson, not the 80s beat it, the Michael Jackson that's like the, I don't want to say beer god, but he's like the ultimate beer, if anybody knows anything like big about beer. Well, he raved about it, and they actually introduced a smoke category to the Great American Beer Festival in 1990. So as the style expanded, we now have 2 more styles of smoked beer. You have specialty smoked beer, which is basically just smoky beer with adjuncts. Fruit, spices, honey, whatever you have. You got to balance the malts, balance the hops, and balance these adjuncts. So that's specialty smoked beer. You can basically smoke any style you want. St. Arnold's has done it, Three Floyds has done it, Wiseacre, AleSmith, Lagunitas, all sorts of breweries. Then you have your classic style smoked. This is no extra frills. You're just balancing smoky malts, hop, and that's pretty much it. Your main flavor, though, is going to be smoke. And that would be where the Alaskan smoked porter is. So that's basically it. Those are your 3 different smoked beers. However, you can get different flavors from different wood. So like some of the wood will give you the bacon flavor, which is the beechwood. You know, some wood will give you more of a sweet flavor. The Alaskan beer is actually brewed on alderwood, so it gives it like a smoked salmon flavor, and they tell you to pair it with salmon. So they actually smoke their malt own, but a lot of breweries will actually buy smoked malt, or they'll buy liquid smoke, which a lot of people seemed like that was a terrible idea when I was researching this. So if you're going to brew your own beer, don't do that. But to enjoy the smoked beer properly to the fullest, you need to put it in a flute glass, serve it cool, not cold, and pair it with barbecue, because the smoky in the beer and the barbecue actually work together. Rather than be overly smoky, it actually calms some of the smoke down, which I didn't understand why you would want to do that if you like the smoke flavor, but that's what it recommended to do. Now, this is just a little touch. I'm sure everybody doesn't need to know more about smoked beer, but there actually is a whole book written by Ray Daniels, the Cicerone guy, and the head brewer from Alaskan, Jeff Larson, and they actually wrote a whole book just about smoked beer. So there is a lot more history to it, and a lot of people say that it's older, because the brewery that still brews it in Germany is actually from like the 14 or 1500s, so they've been doing this for hundreds and hundreds of years. But there was comments of it going even further back to, the Egyptians did this and all sorts of stuff. So there's a whole bunch of extra layer of history. But the Rauchbier is the main one that is actually still being brewed with the exact same recipe it was being brewed with in the 1500s. I mean, they're still using copper kettles, they're still using wood barrels, and they're doing all of this. But I thought it was interesting because I never knew where the smoke flavor came from, that it's literally the actual smoke attaching to the grains in the malt and survives the brewing process. So that's about it. If anybody has any questions, I learned a lot more. It's amazing the rabbit hole you can fall down into when you start researching beer. But that's pretty much it. And now I have another place I have to visit in Germany when I go to Oktoberfest. It's Bamberg, Germany. I'm sure I'm butchering that. We'll have to ask Brew Witch on Sunday morning when we do our Hoppy Hour with her, because she's in Germany. Maybe she can shed a little more light on some of these pronunciations. I'm not even going to try to say the name of the breweries. That's still Brew It.
She's going to come in and like, you all are so dumb. It's this,
right.
That. Like, look, I don't know.
Well, I thought it was Rauchbier, and then I found an actual like phonetical pronunciation. So in all my notes, I'm actually misspelling it, so I didn't say Rauchbier, I said Rauchbier. But I mean, it seems like there's a ton more history to it. But that, it's kind of neat that you can actually still go to Germany and get an actual beer at this actual brewery that was exactly the same as it was in the 1500s. I mean, I'm sure they are taking credit cards and stuff now, but.
You mean to tell me that they didn't have credit cards? They're just like passing stones at each other.
I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there, maybe. So that is your beer spill for this week. Any questions?
I picture is like, why you mentioned Egypt was doing this. It's just like them embalming some pharaoh while drinking some smoky beers in the background. They got some smooth vibes going on. Like, it's incredible.
I think you could do a whole episode on beer in Egypt. So on that note, now I'm going to open my triple bacon coffee. That was another thing. In one of the restaurants across the syrup that you add to your beer, and that can give it a smoky flavor. So there's all sorts of things you can do with smoky. I actually really like smoky. A lot of times you get smoky porters because those seem to balance well. But I mean, I've had all sorts of different smoky beers, and I've always enjoyed them. But I know some people hate them. But I mean, if we were all the same, it'd be no fun.
So Deborah chimes in, one of the viewers chimes in, drinking a 2015 Goose Island Bourbon Country Rye Stout with blackberries and candied cherries. Wow.
Nice.
That is a huge beer right there, but it sounds delicious. So speaking of that, what are some of the viewers drinking? Let's get some comments rolling. Deborah's drinking a great one.
So I don't know that I've ever had a smoky beer, but isn't that a big thing with bourbon? I feel like when I went on a bourbon tour, a lot of them, the way I would describe them was smoky.
They do a lot of like barrel beers, bourbon like that.
But there was something I read with there was different types of like the malt, like peat malt, I guess is one that's used a lot in like whiskey.
Okay.
So there are different ways, to do it. But it was mainly they recommend with the actual malts is what you want to get the smoky flavor from. But yeah, I mean, with so many beers nowadays too, it's like, can this even be considered a beer anymore? You've so intertwined it with wine or liquor or cider or all these different things. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up getting more, there's so many subcategories, if we end up getting more subcategories of like a smoked beer. But I think New Glarus actually did one. So I know I don't know if they've done one recently, but I know when I was doing the research, I had read at one point that they did one. I mean, Sam Adams has done one. I mean, a whole bunch of people. But they're not, a super popular style of beer other than like a smoky porter. So I think they're a little bit harder to find. Mm-hmm. But I will drink one in Germany one day. I can promise you that.
Yeah, that's
I did.
You did?
I was just gonna say I did open up a new beer. It's not smoky though. It's the complete opposite end of the spectrum from smoky. We have an Urban Surfer from Payette Brewing. Pretty light. Because some of us have to work tomorrow. We're keeping it light until I open up the next IPA. Anyways, but
that's a great beer. I think that was one of them you sent me. Looks familiar.
So I sent it out. I gotta keep saying, I unashamedly voted for them in the Best of Boise 2019 Best Brewery. No offense to the other breweries who may see this, you guys are all awesome. However, they're my favorite. They're my go-to one in Idaho.
Nice. Lucky, what you drinking on up there? Did you crack open another one? You still have that?
No, but I'm still sipping on the raspberry hard seltzer. I'm liking it a lot.
Tell us what you think about it.
I think I've told you guys before, I'm not a huge hard seltzer guy. I actually found one this weekend that I like called High Noon, just because it uses vodka.
Coffee, right?
Yeah, it's pretty expensive. But I like that one, but this is probably the favorite I've had that's like actual, or like an actual brewery that's not like vodka. So I like it a lot. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
Seltzers
good.
make me more sober. I don't know how it happens, but if I drink a seltzer, I'm like magically cured. Don't know how it works, but that's just what it is.
That's good.
I got pretty intoxicated last week, so maybe that's a good thing if I'm starting out with this.
He's out there yelling, "There's no laws."
Yeah, basically.
Do you hear about the story at Other Half where there was a line outside waiting for Other Half beer, and some guy got all mad that everybody was waiting outside and was like yelling about him, and then he went into his house and then came out with a White Claw and like threw it at the people in line. We ended up like pulling a gun and they called the cops. It was like reading this story, I was like, is this real? Yeah, so I recommend Googling that, Other Half White Claw gun, and it should come up.
Started with a White Claw, and somehow we have to know what's screwed. It's not doing its job.
Well, there's clearly some laws because the cops were called.
We're gonna break open one from Mash
Sockeye.
over there.
Hey. To match the glass.
Hey.
They are delicious. If you ever get a chance to go to Sockeye Brewing, their food is so ungodly good. I cannot recommend the food enough. I mean, the beer is great. However, I had like their salmon and stuff. And oh my, you got a nice fireplace sitting next to you. It just really sets the mood. And fun fact, you can't actually fish for sockeye fish in Idaho because they're endangered.
Huh. I love fun facts. They're always random.
It's called dams.
Because I learned that. I was like, I can't wait to start fishing. And they're like, not touch the sockeye. They're endangered. I was like, okay, man, calm down. I'll touch the sockeye. I don't even know I've been fishing once in like the last 15 years. I don't even know what a sockeye looks like. Couldn't tell you the difference.
Say, stop fucking with the rivers.
Well, if you're in Idaho, they blame a lot of the Californians. So, the default is those goddamn Californians. I don't see it, but that's the default. We'll just go with it, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. What is peanut butter? What are we talking about? Peanut butter?
Chocolate peanut butter porter.
Oh.
He's one of my good friends from a long, long time, man. I used to cross him up on the basketball court pretty good back then.
You used to get the best of Jeff with some b-ball?
Yes. Old Jeff and I, we go way back to our basketball days. We used to wear oversized Celtics jerseys and pretend that he had skill. Really, it's me.
That's fired.
Shots, I was going to say shots fired.
Yeah.
He's practically throwing a White Claw can.
I talk a lot of shit. There's one thing, I'm big into sports, and even in my day-to-day life, I talk a lot of trash. However, peanut butter porters, I cannot talk about peanut butter porters a lot. I will die on the hill that I will pick a peanut butter porter up over anything else, just because peanut butter is such a good flavor, and it shows really well in those porters usually.
It does. You usually get a strong peanut butter flavor. I think my favorite's Belching Beaver. Theirs was amazing.
That's the
Mass Landing makes.
Yeah, you had that the first one. That's right.
Yeah, I might have it.
Yes.
Now that we're talking about it.
There's if you ever get a chance, Mass Landing, Gunner's Daughter. There's probably the best one I've had. It tastes just like a Reese's cup. Oh.
We've actually been getting a lot of Mass Landing down here. I'm gonna look that up.
They have a Gunner's Daughter. That's where the John Stamos came from. Is Mass Landing. They make incredible beer. They're again another Portland brewery.
It's a milk stout, Gunner's Daughter.
Cannot recommend them. It tastes just like a Reese's cup. And if you're like me, I will devour Reese's cups. Chocolate peanut butter is my single greatest weakness. So.
I think that's half the country.
Oh my gosh, we have it in the area. Total Wine has it.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. So speaking of smoked beers, peanut butter, and chocolate, let's talk a little barbecue.
I think we're grilling finally. We're grilling some good, something good here.
Yep.
I think, hey, Brew, didn't you smoke something pretty good the other day? I
Oh
was
my!
pretty jealous.
Whatever you had, I want some of
Yeah.
it. That looked good.
Yeah. So we definitely, I mean, you can't live in North Carolina and not know how to barbecue.
Right.
That just doesn't happen. So it was the wife's birthday last weekend, and put on a shoulder on the egg, and man, that is some good eating. Literally put it on Friday evening when I got home. Son and I put it on and put the smoker about 220. Woke up Saturday, went for a good bike ride, came back, took it off about 3 in the afternoon, and it was butter. But that's kind of barbecue here is what a lot of the country will call pulled pork or chopped pork.
Oh man, pulled pork, yes.
Yeah, I mean it was pretty tasty. It's
Well,
the first time that
you
my
guys don't call it pulled pork in North Carolina. It's like called a shoulder.
I mean you can order it as pulled pork, but that's when somebody says they're going to a barbecue, that's what they're going to have.
See, I stomp around like the Raleigh area a lot, and I never knew that. So I've been looking like a fool this whole time, being like, "Can I have the pulled pork, sir?"
Yeah, that's kind of barbecue around here. It's different for everybody, right? I guess Texas is kind of, you talk barbecue, it's brisket, that sort of thing.
You got Tennessee barbecue.
Yeah, everybody has their own sort of thing, but around here it's pulled pork, and typically it is a vinegar-based sauce in North Carolina. Well, North Carolina is a little bit different. We have different areas of North Carolina that the sauces vary. But yeah, that was pretty good. And that was the first time that our son has helped, like from taking it out of the package until it was done. And when we pulled it off the grill, he carried it inside, and I told him just start pulling it apart with your hands and breaking it up. And he pulled that shoulder blade bone out of that shoulder, and it came out completely clean, and the look on his face was priceless. I wish that I had a camera for that. But yeah, that's
like
kind
a
of
slow motion capture.
Yep. And when I first moved to North Carolina, I didn't kind of adopt to that whole full North Carolina pulled pork. I mean, when they do pulled pork sandwiches here, you get a pile of pork, you're going to get some coleslaw on it, and you're going to get some pickles on it. And when we first moved here, I really didn't follow that very much, but the more and the longer I've lived here, the steeper the pile of coleslaw and pickles have gotten on top of my sandwich. Because I tell you what, piling a good bun with a lot of pork and some coleslaw and some pickles, man, I will tell you, there's not too many things in this world that beat that, other than a good helping of banana pudding on the side.
Ooh.
That is a plate that I will keep going back for until I'm about to bust. So
like, didn't you already have like seconds or thirds? Just like lay off.
Yeah,
right.
It's like, of course I did, and I'll be back.
Am I counting you?
Yeah. Top that with some birthday cake this weekend, and man, I was like a tick before Saturday or Sunday night. Man, it was going on. So that's kind of our barbecue in North Carolina. What's it look like in Wisconsin, Lucky?
Well, so this weekend I went to my dad's house on Monday, and what he had was, we're Mexican, so we like grilled up some. He went to the Mexican restaurant and got some skirt steak. Yeah. That's what everybody says. I don't look the part at all. I'm half Mexican, so my dad's side is Mexican, and I very much got the white half. So we we had some skirt steak, and they were like, it was basically fajitas, some homemade fajitas, and it was amazing. It's not like what you're describing, Jay, but it was really, really, really good. My dad, he's been looking at new grills, and I've been trying to talk him into the green egg. So if you could convince him to do that, I would.
We will
much
shell out the
appreciate
green
it.
egg right now for this.
Yeah.
Everybody all at once.
Yeah, listen, Pops. That green egg is worth every cent.
Pull the bone out clean from the meat. You get it.
Yeah. No, we're obviously, if Green Egg is willing to sponsor us in any sort of way, we will take it and spend every dime on our website, guaranteed. That's been a hot topic of conversation in the chat this week. But, yeah, so I will tell you, the Green Egg is not cheap, as anybody that's ever went out and shopped them. But we've had ours, 10, 12 years maybe? And
you're still getting meat cooked just like that. See, it speaks for itself.
Yeah, I mean, you can't.
12 years, Dad, he's still pulling it out perfectly.
Yeah, you're not. Well, I will tell you, you show me a grill that you can pay good money for and that it's still kicking, and even 6 years. I mean, every other one that I had before that, a couple of years in, you're like pushing it out to the curb so the dumpster guys are picking it up.
Get out of here, peasant. I need a new one.
Yeah, I mean, this past week was the first time that we put any money into it, and it's lasted for a while. So, Pops, get your boy a Green Egg, and you guys cook up some good food. Yeah. Make sure Pops is watching there, Lucky. Mash, tell us about what barbecue is like in Idaho.
Well, Idaho barbecue, I mean, I'm so originally from Boston. I've lived in the two places that, barbecue is not our thing. Now, if you want to talk potatoes, Idaho, I got some potato recipes for you. Barbecue, however, I have not found a great barbecue joint yet. So if anybody happens to be listening from Idaho, please help me out. I'm going to die here soon. I don't have a smoker myself, so I can't introduce the good words, but there's a lot of sushi places here, so they can barbecue at all. So I guess we can say non-existent.
Oh, we can't put sushi in the barbecue category. That's just not gonna happen.
The barbecue is just non-existent out here.
I've had barbecue sushi before, where it's like barbecue flavored sushi. I've definitely had a roll that was like barbecue flavored. I can't remember where. I never order. When we do sushi, we order 50 style husband and wife, because I will just get an avocado roll and my husband gets these extravagant things and they're always delicious. So I would just tell him, you order, I'll eat whatever you get. We've had something that had like barbecue sauce on it one time. It was good.
Oh.
So you never know with sushi.
So Hoppy, you got to tell us what Florida barbecue's like, other than sushi.
I'm so bad for this subject. I'm actually a fake vegetarian, which means that I only eat poultry and fish. This is the only bacon I eat is in beer.
On to the next one.
Oh God, is this a bad time to bring
on to the next one?
Like bacon myself?
Yeah. What?
I'm with you. I don't really like bacon.
I thought the barbecue in Memphis was better than all of Texas. Like, we had barbecue in San Antonio and Amarillo and Dallas, and I thought that the Memphis was the best. But I mean, those were chicken wings.
You'll be hard pressed not to find anything that's better than Memphis.
Tennessee in general makes some really good barbecue.
Yeah, I was impressed. Well, when we were in Denmark, actually in Copenhagen, we were at the Mikler Brew Pub, and they had American-themed barbecue, and they had South Carolina sauce, and they had Texas sauce. I don't remember what they had 2 other states, but that was amazing food and amazing beer. So the chicken was delicious.
So Deborah says our local Fort Lauderdale barbecue joint opened since 1953, serves North Carolina barbecue style, and was featured on Man, Fire, and Food, the Georgia Pig. Yeah, I bet you that is. That's probably some good eating. If they're serving North Carolina barbecue in Florida, they're probably packed. Because if we're talking to Hoppy Mama, if we're talking to Hoppy Mommy, there's not too much going on in barbecue in Florida. So Jeff Langer says, y'all need to come to my house. Yeah, I guarantee you Jeff knows how to cook some barbecue. He's down there. He's down the mountain of us up here in where we're at, but I guarantee you he knows how to cook some barbecue. What else is what else from the viewers? Let's see if there's any other viewers out there that have other. What is it that's barbecue where you're at, and what is it that you consider? So, Hoppy Mommy, what is it that's what has to be? What is at the Florida barbecues? Kind of what's the beer that's floating around? What is the vibe? What is the, what's the side dishes and that sort of thing? Even if it's vegetarian, we'll take a side dish that's vegetarian.
The basic side dishes in Florida. Yeah, we get potato salad. We get coleslaw. I love fried okra. It's delicious. You'll see at some barbecues too. We get a lot of Cuban food. You get your platanos and you get your, rice and beans and whatnot. I'm trying to think of barbecues that we have brought food. Same typical stuff. Baked beans. Yeah, beer. We have a lot of beer. That I usually drink IPAs at barbecues.
Everybody
but
else,
I'm not against
shotgun, Stone Light.
Well, yeah, some people still be drinking. Yingling is a big lager, a go-to lager around here because it's easy to get, and it's a good lager. So, you see a lot of Funky Buddha, especially in South Florida, because they're easy to get. So I would.
Have a brewery in Tampa, don't they?
Yeah, they have a brewery in Tampa. And honestly, their beer, I actually enjoy their beer. It's one of those go-to. If that's the only beer they have, yeah, I'll drink that. If Bud Light's the only beer they have, I'm not a fan.
Black and tangerine is definitely worth it.
So if we're talking sides, there's going to be some potatoes involved. Let's go to MASH and figure out what Idaho's going to make for our sides, for our virtual barbecue that we're having on Hoppy Hour.
So, fun fact, I had no idea until my wife told me this. She was at a volunteer event, and they had a potato bar. Now, apparently a potato bar is like a thing they do here. They lay out a big potato spread, and then they have all sorts of like random fixings that you can possibly imagine. And you just go up to this potato bar as though it's a salad bar, and you just make your baked potato how you want, I guess.
That's hilarious.
We're thinking of honestly throwing a Idaho-themed potato, like an Idaho-themed party for July 4th weekend, because Idaho became a state July 3rd. So that's one of the things we're going to include. We're going to have a big barbecue potentially. And we're going to maybe have like the potato bar, things like that. So I guess if we're coming to the party, we're bringing a potato bar, baby.
I feel like that would be like us having an orange juice party. Like, we have a lot of oranges.
Don't worry, guys. I brought the orange juice. I have the cards. You guys looking for cards today? I got your potatoes, your bacon, your cheese, your sour cream, whatever you need. I'm your guy.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I've never heard of a potato bar party.
So our thing was we were pretty much gonna just like, if it's Idaho theme, we're doing it. So obviously all different cuts of French fry, anything that you can do with potato, we were gonna do. And then like Idaho themed beers. I was trying to get like a potato pinata. I was gonna get like a pinata potato theme, and they have like these chocolate candies that are called fudge. They're like in the shape of a potato, but they're made of like marshmallow and coconut. So you just fill it up with that. You have no idea how like Idaho centric they are. There's a thing for everything. Chocolate. They have an Idaho themed chocolate. They have an Idaho themed everything. Crazy. It's pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie. I'm learning a whole new culture.
I love when cliches like that are accurate. It's very entertaining.
Yeah.
It's fully accurate. I will drive by on the highways, and there will be semi-trucks full of just potatoes pouring out of the back, and I'm like, I'm going to crash into a car because I've never seen this before in my life.
Potatoes cover your car as you crash into it.
I'm getting
like Back to the Future.
Potatoes, and I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever made in my life.
If you want cliches, my cousin is a cheese salesman. She's in Wisconsin, so
nice.
Yeah, I forget the company that she works for, but yeah, she goes around and she has cheese themed parties and like always has tons of cheese in her house. Whenever I go over there, that's like all she gives me, like for Christmas presents and stuff. She just gives me huge blocks of cheese. So
I would be okay with that.
Best Christmas present ever.
Yeah.
Like, mom gives me socks instead. Mom's giving me cheese wheels. I'm like, hell yeah, let's do.
It's the best. And I can't believe you guys didn't mention mac and cheese as one of the staple side dishes to barbecue.
God,
is that
okay, that is.
No, it is. No, mac and cheese. Mac and cheese is a big one.
Mac and cheese though is like a regular side dish for like at least once a week, I would say, for dinner. So I guess I don't consider that just barbecue.
That's true.
Yeah.
Jeff just pointed out hush puppies. Hush puppies are another good one.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good southern one, I think.
Collard greens. I will not eat collard greens. Miss me with that. But the rest, baked beans, coleslaw, hush puppies, I can mess with that.
Yeah, definitely got to have hush puppies. Hush puppies with barbecue is a must. It's a good call.
I have an idea for giving away the bomber jacket. Whoever has the most obscure side dish that they would bring, that's like a normal occurrence to a barbecue. You should get the bomber jacket this week.
I didn't catch all of that. What was the stipulations?
Ooh, watermelon, that's one.
Whoever comes up with like the most obscure thing that they would bring to a barbecue should win the bomber jacket for this week. Because we have our traditional mac and cheese, baked beans. So what's something that we four might not think of, but they're like, yeah, this is normal in my area.
Shouldn't they have to send it to us, though? Shouldn't we have to be able to try it? I want to sample.
Make something up. You have to be like,
yeah. I want to sample it. We'll keep that idea. We'll keep that idea. Speaking of Soldier Down, I think Lucky's got a conversation he needs to tell us about, or an incident that he's going to have to share with us here in just a second. And we'll have to make sure that we pay full respect to this one, because it's going to be, this is going to be pretty. Yeah, let me take off my
everybody. Honestly, moment of silence.
Because we have
I thought about wearing all black tonight, asking you guys to
pour one out for the homies that we have lost along the way.
I'm gonna pour some into my glass.
Yep.
All right, Lucky, floor is all yours. Tell us about the Soldier Down.
You guys have been the best, you guys. I got all of your beer care packages this week, and one of the ones that I was really looking forward to, because I think we've talked about it quite a bit on this. One of them, it was a fallen soldier. I don't know what happened, but I actually have the can here. It looks like it's been through a battle. I legitimately don't know what happened.
It looks like the postman took it out, drank it for himself, and Stone Cold Steve Austin crushed it.
Yep, I've got a blog that I'm going to throw up tomorrow. I'll finish it up tonight and get it up sometime tomorrow for the weekend. But in mine, I said it looked like it was delivered by a Rottweiler hungry Rottweiler traveling through a Category 3 hurricane. So I don't know what happened, but it was all over the box that Jay sent me, and it was really sad. So, I'm going to write up a eulogy for it. I've got a couple so I wanted to pose the question to you guys. It's all about the fallen soldiers and Memorial Day and like kind of playing off of that. Is there any time or any beer, I guess, that you guys have had that you've wanted to, like, you haven't been able to think of the name of it again? Because that's what started happening to me. Like, I started thinking of these really good beers that I had that I haven't been able to find since.
How am I supposed to come up with that if I can't remember the name?
Right. Well, yeah, just like an incident. So mine was right when I started drinking, or like started getting into craft beer. I was in Nashville, Tennessee with my girlfriend's family at the time. And so her dad was big into craft beer, and there was this one from Boston, Nash. I don't know what it was, but it was honestly, like, at the time, I guess I didn't have.
I was about to ask you, well, what was it?
Yeah, I have no idea, but at the time, I was saying it's the best beer I ever had. I had probably 4 or 5 of them in an afternoon, like an early afternoon. We just had to stay at that bar because it's the only place that had it on tap, and I have no idea.
Do you remember the bar?
The bar that it was at, it was a small, older bar. I have no idea.
What was the style?
In Boston, was Sully's Tap?
What was that?
If you're in Boston, for small bars, you got Sullivan's Tap, which is in the North End.
Oh, it wasn't in Boston. I was in Nashville. It was a Boston beer.
Oh,
that they had on
Nashville.
tap.
Okay.
It was a Boston beer that they had on tap.
It might have been Harpoon.
That actually sounds like that could be it.
What style was
I'm not
it?
even kidding. It was like it. So it was sweet. I want to say it was like, for some reason, like honey and bees comes to mind. Like I wanted to. I love sweet beers though, and so it was something like that. But I have no idea what it was, and that's like one of the ones that I wish I could. Like if I had 3 wishes.
Got away.
Yeah, if I had 3 wishes, one of them would for sure be to know what that beer was.
And the other one would be for that Hetty Topper again.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I remember when we first started talking about Hetty Topper. That was Lucky was ready for that one, and I knew that had to be in the box.
So badly,
That's rough.
and it looks like it's been through freaking war.
Went through hell to get
Looked
to
like
you.
your mailman, Stone Cold Steve Austin, that thing and shotgunned it, man. What did he do to that thing?
I'm convinced that he didn't open that package. Was like, hell yeah, cracked open, crushed it down. And was like, oh, sorry, I'll put the drops all over the box, make it look like you got crushed.
Right.
Well, I've heard of people flying home from vacations with beer, and when they get home, like there's one less beer, because a lot of times they'll check that luggage because so much liquid in it.
Hey, if I was a baggage handler and I found a Hetty Topper in a bag, it wouldn't make it. It wouldn't make it.
If I found a good craft beer,
It wouldn't make it. Yeah, that's a beer that you're like, man, I'm going to tuck this in my pocket, and as soon as I punch that time clock, I'm drinking it on the way to the parking garage.
Yeah, when we were flying out of Vermont, I was concerned about that the whole time when we checked our bags in Vermont. I was, especially because the guy knew it was full of beer, because when I put it on the scale, I cheered that it was under 50 pounds.
Yep.
You're staring at each other with this mutual understanding, like, look, man.
Yeah.
Don't say anything. I won't say anything. We're good.
No, they don't mind. Yeah, because my dad was with us and he was doing the same exact thing, and we're like, do a lot of people fly out of here with beer? He's like, all the time. It's like everybody.
Well,
I've
always done that too. I just wrap them up in like how I can in clothes or Ziploc baggies. Put the cans in there. That way, if they explode. But that's how I've always done it.
Yeah. Well, the beer,
wrap them.
Yeah, the beer I sent you guys, those plastic bags have been to California and Vermont and made it back safely. So I bring black bags with me, and they've been to Idaho, Wisconsin, and I got to keep it moving as long as the bags don't pop. I always make sure they still have air in them and aren't popped.
Yeah.
So Brad checking in from Nashville, drinking a 2016 Green Flash Blanc Tart. Let's see, Barquet? Not sure how to pronounce
Flash, that probably aged well.
Yeah, I bet you that is tasty. So Brad, you bring something to mind. The rest of the viewers, where are you guys checking in from? Maybe, hey, that's an idea.
To add it to our names.
Yeah, where are you guys viewing from? Let's see that. Maybe we'll come up with some sort of giveaway associated to where people are at. So chime in where you're watching from, where you're viewing from. Let us know, maybe even what you're drinking. And we'll pull a name out of the people that reply to win that, where is it at? Bomber jacket. So we'll pull a name out to win the bomber jacket. So it's a good one.
I'm currently scrolling through all of Harpoon's beers, and they have about 6,000. So I don't know.
Harpoon is big. They throw a massive Oktoberfest in downtown Boston every year. They do like the Harpoon Oktoberfest. It's such a good time. It's not obviously your traditional Oktoberfest you'd find in Germany, but it's a really, really good time. I gotta say, they collaborate with a few others. Sam Adams does an Oktoberfest. Can't recommend enough. I do have a question. What is everybody's go-to barbecue beer? Since we're talking barbecue, if you're gonna show up at a barbecue with like a 6-pack, what are you showing up with?
Honestly, I would stop at a local brewery on the way to the barbecue, so it depends on whose house I'm going to. Like one of our friends who always has a barbecue on 4th of July, I'd be passing by probably Sideward or Hourglass. I'd probably stop at one of those. I mean, how was your Sideward beer? That's a damn good beer.
It was, honestly, that was the best one I've drank tonight so far. Right now I'm on the John Stamos with Drum. This can is probably my favorite thing just because it's Stamos on Drum.
Right.
So I've been really saving this one. So tonight's a special night. I've been saving this beer for, I guess, tonight. It's really good, but I will say the Sideward Brewing, probably the best one I've had tonight.
So I feel like I usually like to get a couple high ABVs and then some lower ABVs. But we've also kind of started a tradition with our friends. Whenever somebody has a barbecue or a party, we do a beer tasting there. So I'll, sometimes then I'll bring just a low ABV, 4-pack or 6-pack or maybe High Lie for us to drink while we're not doing the tasting, and then we bring all these amazing beers for the tasting. Of course, I can't remember the.
We got Matt.
I have a lot of friends who just like drink their Bud Light and stuff like that. I don't know how that would go, but recently a few of my friends have been turned on to the craft beer scene. So I think I'm gonna have to start implementing that myself.
Yeah, we all kind of slowly, like it used to be a keg of Bud Light, and then we upgraded to a keg of Yingling, and then now we don't even get kegs because we all, you can't get a keg of, well, some of the local breweries do kegs, but not many. So it's kind of just transformed into impromptu beer tastings. But yeah, we all kind of shifted at the same time, so it's been really nice. And it's been awesome with, anytime anybody travels for work or for fun, we all bring back beer. And so, we have one friend that goes to Brazil a lot, another friend, that travels a lot for his job. Well, he did a few months ago, and I'm sure he will again soon. But yeah, no, it's been awesome. Gotten to try beers from all over the world, not even the country.
So we've got Matt checking in from Omaha, Nebraska. Deborah from Fort Lickerdale, Florida. I'd imagine that's Lauderdale.
That's
we've got,
probably... Yeah. Is that Deborah?
Yep. We got Jeff in Hickory.
That's my dad.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We got Jeff in Hickory, North Carolina. We got Brad. And Brad said he travels with 2 suitcases. One empty, one full. The empty one so he can return beer. So,
yep.
That's what I do when I go on my work trip.
And Jeff's checking in at Greater Boston, Mass. Awesome. It's great to see you guys. We appreciate you joining us tonight. So we've got the heady topper issue going on. Lucky, did the Sip of Sunshine make it?
Yes, it did.
Oh, that's amazing.
I haven't opened that one yet, but maybe that'll be my next one. I got the Florida Man rocking right now.
Let's make the Sip of Sunshine next if it's cold for you, man, because that's one I want to get your
sunshine back in our lives, baby.
Yeah.
I can promise you Sip of Sunshine's going to be way better than Florida Man.
Oh,
Sip of Sunshine's amazing.
I'm liking Florida Man a lot, actually. It's a double IPA.
It's good, but it's not their best IPA.
Okay.
So yeah, but Sip of Sunshine is amazing. So I actually had a friend when I was in Vermont, I brought back Sip of Sunshine and we were doing a beer tasting and my friend's like, oh, I don't really like Sip of Sunshine. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Drink this. And he drinks it. He's like, oh, this is really good. I'm like, well, when did you have Sip of Sunshine before? He's like, oh, well, a friend of mine bought it on eBay and mailed it to me. Mm-hmm. So this Sip of Sunshine was probably like years old and skanky. Or danky, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Skunky.
No,
it was disgusting. It was well, I mean, it was on
that. Could go for a skanky beer right now.
So anyway, he thought he didn't like it.
There's probably a lot of things that Lucky could go for that are skanky, but we ain't going to talk about them on this episode.
It's been a long quarantine, guys. Get off.
Yeah. That's
we'll
awesome.
Save that for the Amsterdam version or the Amsterdam Hoppy Hour.
Yeah, for sure. Jeff said I can send him some cream from A&B. Yeah, that is a phenomenal beer. Great beer that they make and brew, and that's one of my go-to winter beers. Barbecue beers, man. I will tell you, my barbecue beer is not just a 6-pack. Because I can't tell you the last time I got with a group of guys and only drank 6 beers. So I'm probably reaching in the cooler, grabbing out 12 or 2 12s of probably a full-bodied lager. I mean, we've talked about this, I think, a couple of times. kind of finding that 4 to 5% beer that you can take to the tailgate and just crush all day. That's kind of what I see as a barbecue, right? Something you can kind of crush all day. So mine is probably some sort of lager, low gravity, 4 or 5-ish%, something.
So not Fat Tire?
We've had this conversation before. Yeah, it's not going to be a Fat Tire. I can promise you that. Lucky, so what's your 12-pack that you're grabbing? Being a college student, you're probably going to grab a case of PBR and.
Yeah, right. I was gonna some Natty Light.
Yeah, man. I know you guys are tearing those up there in Wisconsin.
Oh, don't you know it?
Yeah.
PBR is made in Milwaukee, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
It has building. We've got a bunch of the old breweries up here, but the go-to. Anyone I think I threw 2 of them in your guys' pack just because I always have it in my fridge. Is Spotted Cow. That's the one.
My God!
If you show up anywhere with that, nobody's gonna turn it down. Anybody drinks it, even if you don't like alcohol, you'll drink it, or you don't like beer, you'll drink it. So. Yeah, so I think I threw 2 of them in all of your guys' along with whatever.
So Lucky, if you show up with a case
I'm gonna come out and say it. I love you. If I open that package and there's any flares in there, I won't.
So if you show up with a case of Spotted Cow, are you smoking the night for free?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
God, Spotted Cow.
That's awesome.
Cow. It has such a soft. Spotted Cow. God,
it is the best, you guys. You have to tell me. You'll have to drink it when we get on a Hoppy hour and let me know what you think, because
I don't want to stare at the bottle before opening it for about 2 weeks and just cherish the beauty that is Spotted Cow in my house, and then I'll eventually.
I sent.
Well, see, that's what you need. I
didn't send the bottles. But.
You need to just do like a trophy shelf behind you, so you can drink it and then keep the can on the wall. I have Hetty Topper behind me.
See, very true. I'm working.
Yeah, you have a blank wall. You just need shelves and trophies. I missed what Lucky said. Oh, his sad can? Are you going to display that one?
Yeah,
You're gonna throw the sad can up behind him to solemn reminder of the things that could have been.
A Stone Cold Steve Austin can.
Get it cremated.
You're going to put a 316 next to it.
I feel like we didn't give it the proper moment of silence it deserved.
I feel like we all just need to stand around. He's gonna bury it, and we're all gonna devour it. And we need a video.
I've shed enough tears over it this week. So
you just need to start driving to Vermont. How far is that?
Oh, a couple days. Not that
days.
Bad.
Yeah,
it'll be worth it.
I will say it's worth it. Stowe, Vermont's gorgeous.
It is gorgeous, and they have more than just the Alchemist there. That's amazing.
It looks just like Jurassic Park. After all the snow melts, it looks like you're in Jurassic Park. So if that doesn't sell it, then the beer should sell it.
Well, they had Hill Farmstead posted last month. Within a day apart, one day the whole place was covered in snow, and they're like they were on a list of like the top 10 prettiest breweries in the States. And one day it's covered in snow, the next day it's green. And this was like a few weeks ago. I was like, that is insane. We were there last June, so it was just green.
It was. We were there. I went up probably last June or May myself. When I was in that Stowe area. That's probably the last time I was there as well.
Oh, that's funny. I think we were there maybe like June 9th or something like that.
We stared at each other from across the bar, but had no idea we'd be doing a podcast 1 year.
Did you? Maybe you did the tour at the Alchemist. I was so hungover. It was terrible.
I didn't do the tour. I didn't do a tour. You know, I had couple small kids, so I was like, all right, I'm not going to subject, but I did do the Ben & Jerry's tour because ice cream.
Oh, we did that, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, my husband was the ice cream hero. He ate the extra ice cream.
Oh, God, how burdened.
I know, he took one for the team. Well, he needed it because it was my husband and my dad and I. So my dad and I are, dragging him to all these breweries. My husband leaves us at a bar by ourselves that has just Sip of Sunshine, Hetty Topper, and Focal Banger. And, I mean, that was why I was hungover the next day at the Alchemist.
He's like, guys,
it was amazing.
See what Vermont has to offer. I will see you later.
Right. Well, like he likes beer, but yeah, he perked up at that Ben & Jerry's, man. He was real excited.
Lucky, did you get a Focal Banger in your box?
A Focal Banger? I don't remember seeing it. I'll have to double check.
You would remember if you had a focal banger.
You would definitely remember the focal banger. It's wicked good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
If not, maybe I'll put in a bodyguard for the heady topper the next time. That's a good beer.
He's sending it in an armored case. It brings truckloads at the top with a 6-pack of beer.
We'll send it on to Wells Fargo.
Better than heady.
Watch your mouth.
I'd agree with that. I think so. Heady has become, oh God, at the risk of just sounding ultimate hipster, it's just become like almost too popularized. Whereas like some of the lesser known ones, they sneak.
The most depressing conversation I've ever been a part of. I just wish I had one so bad.
You should like, hey guys, I get it.
What I want to know is, did you like open it up and take the last little bit out?
He's got the box above his head, and he's just
I did try.
I bet it smelled amazing. That must have been the best smelling package ever.
Yeah,
it was great.
Yeah, he's like, guys, all your spotted cows, broken glass. Have fun with that.
Yeah.
I should have just sent like a shattered
Speaking of lagers, let's talk a little bit of hops news. And we have some good hops news tonight. Lagers, talking light lagers. Pearl beer from Pabst is coming back. Probably most of you don't remember Pearl beer, but the first time it was out, it lasted a while. This time they're making some changes to it, and they're actually lowering the ABV. It was up there around 5%. They're dropping it down to 3.8, relabeling it, rebranding it, and bringing it back with a little deeper amber color, a little bit more maltiness, and a little bit more hops to it. And gonna bring Pearl beer back. Kind of excited to try that. That's gonna be an interesting reintroduction of an old beer that has been around for a while. But looking forward to trying that one. And let's take it over to MASH and learn a little bit about what Sam Adams is doing.
All right. So I actually had the pleasure this week. We've reached out to Sam Adams, kind of talked to them a little, and a pleasure to talk to their marketing department. And they told me a little about what they're doing. They teamed up with Greg Hill, who, if you're a New England-based person, Greg Hill is known as the Hillman on WAAF. It's an old radio station that actually just got bought out. Well, they've teamed up to donate to the Restaurant Strong Fund. And so far, they've got 20 states total, and they've raised $3 million. The exact number is $3,075,205 raised to give back to the restaurant community in these 20 different states. It's easy as like a big brewery to just kind of, we'll toss a few dollars here and there, but what they're doing is really incredible. They've raised $3 million during a time where a lot of people don't know if they're going to have work again or when they're going to have work. They opened it March 18th. It started in Massachusetts, obviously, where they're from, and they raised $500,000 in the first week. So if that doesn't show you just how big their outreach is and how dedicated they are to it, I don't know what does. If you can, restaurantstrong.org is where you can go. You can donate $1, you can donate $20, but it goes to a really great cause. And like I said, I had the pleasure of talking to them a little bit about it. So I'm hoping to learn more information, what else they are doing, and they're doing great things. No matter how big you get, you always remember where you came from, and it's an incredible thing.
There we have it. Sam Adams doing big things for the restaurant industries as well. Big money. Speaking of restaurants and big money, Jeff Longer, pull out your wallet, give a donation to the Restaurant Employees Relief Fund.
Shot fired.
Yeah. Hey, I know where Jeff lives. Yeah, if anybody out there is listening, we have a little donation button set up ourselves to support the Restaurant Employees Relief Fund that the Athletic Brewing is supporting. So that button's still floating around. If you can give, that would be great, because it's a great organization. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Restaurant employees have been hit hard over the pandemic, and I know a lot of them personally. didn't have jobs. They got laid off. Employers, whether they did or didn't take the payroll protection loans that were out there, laid off the employees. So it's been a tough road for those guys, and I can only imagine how tough it's been for families. You know, our family is pretty fortunate and blessed that we don't rely on that service industry to put food on the table or roof over their heads, but we definitely have friends and family members that's their sole means of putting food on the table and keeping a roof over their head is that service industry, and it's been decimated, and it's still, in North Carolina at least, it's still not back. Only about 50% opening it up to at this point. I think the governor may have released something today that will allow allow the occupancy rate to pick up a little bit, but it's still not back to where it used to be. And for where we live, very much a tourist location. I don't know that we're going to have the same season that this community is used to, and obviously those restaurant employees are used to making a good living up here off of those type of tips and that sort of thing. But whatever you can give, you know, it's gonna count for somebody. These people are not getting. And I will say this: even if you're not going to give to the link tonight, the next time you pick up a curbside order or to-go order, man, I challenge you to leave the biggest tip that you've left at that location ever, because I will tell you more than anything, it's going to count in these times, and some of these restaurants are going to need every little bit they can get. So if you're feeling in the mood and feeling it, definitely we appreciate the tips because it looks good for us. We're going to start tracking a little bit. So we can keep track of what we're doing and just display it on our website one of these days. Whenever it doesn't look like whenever it doesn't look like a kid has developed it on a Etch-a-Sketch, we'll start to have some good data on it. But I will tell you that website is a topic of conversation almost a daily basis for the four of us here, and we're doing and trying to reach out and make it happen. And so it's been an interesting go. But anybody that is willing to give to that donation, we definitely appreciate it. And sooner or later, we'll get a little page up where we can keep track of all the organizations that we worked with and kind of gave back to.
You promise. That is coming.
Yep, because I think it'll be good, and it's not us that does it; it's definitely the viewers. So we appreciate that.
The more you share, the more you know. All just to share, you can help. Like you said, in North Carolina, you open at 50%. That's how it is in Idaho. I threw up an article this past weekend about what it's like, and honestly, we went to a couple different places and we ordered food, and the food was there in such record time. I swear, I've never seen food come out that fast. So they're really working hard. I know we tend to tip bigger because I know what it means to them, and I used to work for tips myself, so it's something that's near and dear to everyone's hearts. So don't be afraid.
Oh, I see Rauchbier over there.
What do we have in the background?
That is a Rauchbier sour.
I still don't know how I feel about sours. Sours are like my fat tire in that I don't think I like them.
See, I'm not a huge fan of sours, but that one I actually really enjoyed. I bought a 4-pack of it thinking I'll keep one and I'll give out the other 3, and then I was kind of bummed I gave out the other 3. So it was really good. That brewery, they're in Orlando, and they do all sorts of different styles. Like they'll do a Doppelbock, but it's a cherry Doppelbock. They did a Schwarzbier for May the 4th be with you. It was hilarious. The label's amazing. It's like Darth Maul has legs and Forrest Gump sitting next to him going, "You have malt legs." Really well done Schwarzbier. That can was amazing. And I mean, but I love that they're not your average, like, oh, here's your, New England hazy, and here's your, blonde, and, just the basics. Like, they're really trying to be creative, and they do a good job. It's one of those breweries that, like, some people will be like, oh, well, they don't have, this style, so da-da-da-da. But I love their beer. I think they're great. Most people do love their beer. The people that run the place are amazing. And they'll find styles that I'll think, oh, I'm not a huge fan of. And then I try it, and I'm like, oh, shit, this is really good. So that sour, actually, I think my dad's watching. I gave him one of those too. I don't know if he's had it yet, but that was a really good one because he's a big sour fan.
Oh, wow. That smells phenomenal.
It tastes
I will
even
say
better
with
when you drink
sours,
it
they have-
by the pool or the beach.
The sours tend to have a lot of flavor. I think it's just the lack of carbonation that does it for me. I don't really know. I haven't pinpointed it yet.
Well, yeah, there are some sours, like I said before, like I'm not a huge fan of. I don't like the vinegary sours.
There's
like
no
the plastic, like
That makes sense.
there's no lack of
Dutch's
carbonation in this
whatever.
one. This one is you can see
Maybe, all
that
right,
one.
I'll go back out to the sour game. I'll give it another go. I'll try anything twice.
All right, well, next time I go to Rock Pit and they have that pineapple beer, I'll grab a 4-pack.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Yeah, that is tasty.
yeah, they're a great one. And next time you're down here, they're not too far from Disney, maybe 20 minutes from Disney.
I'm gonna have to put the slider
meet up
down
at
on my
Disney.
mic and holler for my wife so she
Okay.
can try this one because she won't want to miss out on this one.
Yeah, I like that. Hops News edition of Drinking Around the World. That could be fun.
I like that we're live from Epcot. I've ruined my hope.
Yeah. Hey, let's do it.
Oh, I see people
Gives us an
every
excuse.
festival they have at Epcot. I see multiple people. I'm live at Epcot on their streaming services. That could be us.
Started from the bottom. Now we're at Epcot.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I just can't even. Yeah. The last time I was there was the first day of Flower and Garden, March 4th, and I saw a ton of people doing that. And the beer selection for this Flower and Garden festival was amazing. I think it was the best I've seen.
I think we're gonna have to do, in honor of Disney reopening, we might just need to do a Disney themed episode, maybe.
Hey, I know one thing we are doing. We're gonna get media passes for the next GABF, and all 4 of us are gonna be there.
Yeah, that's bucket list right there.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. I'm already working on it. I'm working on the legalities of it. So as soon as we get the
Get us
legalities
there,
through,
we will be there.
yeah, we are definitely gonna do that. But we might have to add.
That's up there.
I bet you we
Yeah.
could get some media passes and do a beer around the world at Epcot, right?
Yeah, no, Disney's not letting
Listen.
anybody in for free.
Not yet. Well, I'll pay money. However, the more people share, maybe we can.
Yeah.
Well, I think with Disney, they do special media events before it opens, and I'm assuming some of these people get in. But as far as drinking around the world, like when they do those things, it's like, here's the merchandise we're having, here's tastes of what we're offering, because I see all
Nothing
that
is
other
free
stuff.
to the mouth.
Right? Yeah, it's Disney. But like my daughter, she'll play for her band, she'll perform at like the half marathons and stuff, and it gets us free tickets, and so it's like, yes. I mean, we're annual pass holders, but it's still nice to be able to bring other people.
Oh,
But
hell
really-
yeah.
Yeah, we're like, no, you have to get up at 3:00 in the morning and go perform at that run because we're going to get a free ticket because my husband's not a pass holder. And Dad gets a free
did do
ticket
the
then.
run before. I did the half marathon, the Star Wars one, like the second year they did it. I had so much fun that I've been dying to get back. So
Yeah. The
maybe
runs
I'll
are
get back
amazingly
there.
fun, yeah. I was going to do an
Fair.
article actually on
Yeah.
that because of you can get some great beer at the expo, and as soon as the run's done, Playa Linda Brewing is usually serving beer there. The last run I did was in November, and yeah, I had Playa Linda. Actually, I think it was a sour right after I finished. But I haven't done Star Wars. I want to do that, but this year it fell on the same weekend as MegaCon and something else, and then they all got canceled. So,
that is like the ultimate weekend. If they didn't cancel that, that's just like a nerd's dream. Again, that's something I will talk about for about 12 hours straight. It's just nerd stuff.
yeah.
So
Well, I did the Marvel run in Disneyland. That was pretty amazing.
Oh,
I just
They
dumped the
canceled
bottom
that.
of this can of the beer in the glass, and
that looks refreshing.
that's where the sour come out. Look how hazy it is now. That is.
That's
and
something
that's-
I drink and I stare at my lawn after I mow it and just like, yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely drank
Like
it out
the
by the
green.
pool.
that's a beautiful beer, and it is. Hoppy, thank you for sending this because it is
yeah.
phenomenal.
I love
So-
sending good Florida beer to places outside of Florida because we do not have a great reputation for beer, yet we have amazing beer. So single-handedly, I'm going to give Florida a good beer reputation.
Florida actually low-key has a lot of good beers hidden within them. The state's massive, so
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm grabbing
We're
a
gonna-
sip of sunshine. That's what I'm looking for.
I will.
Ooh,
Yeah,
nice.
when you come back, the
Well, a lot
camera's
of
going to be on you
people
because
don't-
we want to watch you crack it and take your first sip and tell us
We
what
can
you
live
think from like
vicarious.
day one, like the first one. Yeah, go get it. We'll get you back on
In the
camera. when you get back.
meantime, I have
Let's go with MASH. We're going to go live to MASH at Mountain Home, Idaho. What do you have, MASH?
Me, what do I have? I was just going to ask John Prine. I will be honest. I don't know much about John Prine. He's in the background. I'm kind of vibing it. I think it goes pretty well with the beers that we're drinking. I was hoping you'd be able to tell us a little bit about him. I listen to music that a lot of people wouldn't listen to. I go from either 90s rap to heavy metal, so this isn't my area of expertise.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I'll be honest with you, I'm a little bit all over on music as well. I'm kind of like, I'm literally all over the spectrum. I'll listen to gangster rap, usually on the way to work in the morning, all the way down to some Johnny Cash and whatever else he has going on. So I'm a little bit all over the place. But John Prine, we just recently lost John in April of 2020 to the COVID-19. He was born in 1946 in Maywood, Illinois. American country folk singer-songwriter, as you can tell from his music playing in the background there. And it's kind of like everything, right? When they leave us, that's kind of when they get the recognition. He recently received a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, so his music is pretty big, and he's one of those voices. Like I said in the beginning, John Prine is one of those voices. Now that you've heard him, and we're going to take a second here and listen to one of his songs. And I'm going to turn up the volume, and we're going to shut up just so everybody could listen. But he's definitely one of those voices. Once you hear him, and you hear him again, you know that's a John Prine song. And we're going to listen to a song here, one of his later ones, called "When I Get to Heaven," and it's kind of interesting, obviously, telling now that we've lost him. So let's take a listen here.
When I get to heaven, I'm going to shake God's hand, thank him for more blessings than one man can stand. Then I'm going to get a guitar and start a rock and roll band. Check into a swell hotel. Ain't the afterlife grand? And then I'm going to get a cocktail, vodka and ginger ale. Yeah, I'm going to smoke a cigarette that's 9 miles long. I'm gonna kiss that pretty girl on the tilt-a-whirl, 'cause this old man is going to town. Then as God is my witness, I'm getting back into show business. I'm gonna open up a nightclub called the Tree of Forgiveness and forgive everybody ever done me any harm. Why, I might even invite a few choice critics, those syphilitic parasitics. Buy 'em a pint of Smithwick's and smother 'em with my charm. 'Cause then I'm going to get a cocktail, vodka and ginger ale. Yeah, I'm going to smoke a cigarette that's 9 miles long.
John, grab that cigarette that's 9 miles long, buddy, because it's, I'm sure it is a party up there.
I can tell how this would be played at like a barbecue. It has such nice like background. You just kind of, you're feeling it. You know, the instrumental, the guitar he's playing.
Yeah, John is, I'm sure John is having a ball up there if he's anything like he was down here, because he definitely had influenced a lot of music and made a lot of friends, but you can tell by some of his later music, it's kind of like everybody, right? Some of their later music kind of tells where they're really at, where their heart is. So definitely an interesting song, interesting person. If anybody's interested, you can find him on Apple Music. Great music, great information, great guy. If you go to any of his social media sites, you'll see a lot of thing about kids. You heard some kids in the background. Definitely had a big heart for kids. So interesting guy, great music if you're interested. And now we're going to go up to Lucky and check in with Lucky in Milwaukee.
Oh yes, open that sip of sunshine.
And talk about this sip of sunshine. Let's see what you
I
got
like
there,
how you
Lucky.
said that, like, take off that shirt. Open that.
Yeah, show us what you got.
You want me to?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Facebook real quick.
Hey, we might get some more viewers, Lucky. Go ahead and give it a shot and see what happens.
Let me see what you're working with.
Shake that beer. No, don't do that.
Only when it's half, so it doesn't spill out.
There you go.
I've got it, and I've made sure that my palate is completely cleansed. So here we go. You ready?
Nice.
I feel like I need a drum roll.
Wait a minute. Wait. Where's the glass?
Should I get a glass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta smell. We'll come back. All right, we'll back. Why?
Just asking how the gear exchange works.
Wait a minute. How do you, Lucky? You're not in college when you talk to us on Hoppy Hour, man. You gotta pour a
That's
good
fair.
beer and be able to smell it and experience it.
And you just live the good life for a minute, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Just let it breathe.
I had
It's
a-
like, do I need to send him like a Tiku glass in my next beer package?
Hey,
I'm gonna
hold
send
on,
him
hold on,
second
Lucky.
base
Before you
glasses.
get too far involved, you need to take a look in the chat and see what my brother just sent you.
Oh, Jason.
Oh, now I gotta go
Those
there.
are fighting words.
Hey, we're gonna see you soon, Lucky.
I cannot wait for it. I
Man,
cannot
that's
wait
gonna
for
be
it.
a ball.
I've got some friends that have been watching this, and they are coming up. We are gonna go Wisconsin versus App, and we are gonna do it big.
We're gonna drink a lot of beer. I can tell you, we're gonna drink a lot of beer.
So much.
Hey, there's a very good chance that Jeff Langer, who's also in the chat, will also be there drinking beer with us.
Perfect. I cannot wait. Yeah, we are gonna have a good time. If the other two want to make if Hoppy and Mash want to make a trip, it'll be a
All you gotta say is
fun weekend.
Wisconsin, and I'm there.
On Wisconsin, baby. Let's go.
So tell us what you think about the Sip of Sunshine.
I can tell you it smells amazing.
The silence. He's like,
That's
oh, God.
incredible.
All eyes are on
It's-
you, right?
No, it's
We need more, even though we've all
I
had it. We
don't-
need more.
I don't.
Sell it. Really sell it to me right now.
Yeah, that's another one on my trophy shelf because it was so freaking amazing.
I don't think I've had an IPA as good as that. Is that enough? I don't know what else to say.
Had
I'm
enough.
speechless. It tastes like
All right,
the best
all right.
IPA
Wrap up
I've
the
ever had.
podcast. We have to have
Yeah,
gotta regroup as the four of us.
we're gonna wrap it up now.
We'll keep getting sent a testosterone trophy rating after this.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what else to say.
We're
I'm
working
kind
on
of
us right
speechless.
now, okay?
We're working
I'm
on
kind
it.
of speechless.
Yeah.
So, I'm taking one more sip.
Okay, what's it?
So here's a little bit of what's going to happen, right? If any of us send each other an outstanding beer, guaranteed you're going to be put on the spot.
True.
This is
Yeah.
an outstanding beer. I am not exaggerating when I say it's the best IPA that I think I've had.
Yeah.
I can't think of one that's better. So,
I will tell you, there's a toss-up, right? It just comes down to old school IPAs usually fall between Sip of Sunshine and Heady Topper, right? For years, that is where IPAs have been. For me, all the time, Sip of Sunshine. Sip of Sunshine to me is exactly the name on the can.
I was gonna say pretty rarely.
Bold word.
Pretty rarely I would use like refreshing as a
Yeah.
way to describe an IPA, but like that. That's very much what this is. I think.
Now we need to get to a Pliny and a Blind Pig too, though. You gotta have a Heady and a Pliny go head to head, no pun intended, and then you gotta have the Blind Pig and the Focal Banger.
Yeah.
Those are the IPAs, and then the Heady and the Pliny are the doubles.
Yeah.
Because that was when I first really got into beer. You know, I had those, and it was like that was a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my dad just texted me, plus Pliny. I just said it.
Yeah.
Pliny, yes.
Said it.
So Jeff, Lawson's in Vermont makes Sip of Sunshine that's literally 45 minutes from Alchemist that makes Heady Topper. Those two.
I've never had Sip of Sunshine though. I'm just gonna throw it in there.
I'll get you one. I got some. I'll get you some. Definitely.
I wasn't able to make it to Lawson's, but they sell Sip of Sunshine all over Vermont, right by the Alchemist, and the convenience stores right there.
Yep.
And I call myself a New Englander. Jesus.
What?
I'm a Floridian. I've had it.
I would tell you, Sip of Sunshine is my number one IPA ever. I mean, that beer is. It probably doesn't help that the first time I had it, we were fly fishing in Virginia, and I believe it was like January or February, but it was cold as balls, and we were wading in water, and we got back up to the vehicles to have some lunch, and that was a beer that a guy broke out, and I remember literally crack the top. I'll never forget the day. I mean, that's that is pretty iconic in the beer, in your beer memory, right? Those days that you're like, man, I had a sip of a beer. But I'll remember we were standing in a cow pasture, standing at the back of a truck, and I cracked that beer open for the first time, and I took a sip of it, and I was instantly warm. I'm like, kind of like Lucky. It is so refreshing. It is like taking a sip of sunshine compared to most IPAs, and it's absolutely phenomenal beer. But it's one of those beers that I'll never forget the first sip of, and I hope Lucky remembers that too, because that is even today. I mean, it's several years later now for me, but it is still my top IPA. And if I ever make it back to Vermont, I will tell you, this past summer, there was a bike event that we went to Burlington for, but my sole reason to going to Vermont was going to Alchemist and Lawson's, and we spent hours in Lawson's and had a great lunch there, drank a lot of beers on tap before we headed over to Alchemist and waited in line. I'll be honest with you, I was a little bit disappointed in Alchemist. If anybody's been, it is basically a beer line.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Well, when we went, there wasn't a beer line, but a lot of people don't know this. Like, I was expecting to sit at the bar and drink for hours. You can't actually buy a beer on draft at the Alchemist.
Nope.
So, yeah, you can buy cans to go, and you can get unlimited samples of, it's going to be Heady, Focal, and then a random one they'll switch out. I think ours was Kenny's Kolsch.
Yep.
I mean, it's still a beautiful brewery and amazing to go to, but yeah, I didn't know that. But since I was so hungover the first day we went there, it was good I had it lined up to go the second day, too.
Yeah. Lawson's, so take that if you go to Vermont. Lawson's is where you can go and sit down, you can have a meal, you can spend all day there. Alchemist is basically a beer line now, especially nowadays. I mean, they're so popular now. They're literally, I mean, they've got a little gates that you walk through and like a whole serpentine and everything to extend the line and everything. So it's pretty crazy. But the beer is phenomenal. You get it out of the tap. It's at least worth going there to pick up some beer. But Lawson's is a beautiful facility where you can get some great food and have a good time. But I'm looking forward to my return, at least to Vermont, because, man, Vermont has some great beer.
Vermont is beautiful.
Well, and how close is Lawson's to Treehouse? Because I need to do both of those.
See, at least Treehouse is a long can line, especially now. But when life returns to normal, you can actually you can wait in line. The thing that I think that they do best is they know their can lines are long. So you can wait in line for the can lines, and then you buy tickets. And however many tickets you buy is how many pours you get at the actual tap. So you can do both. You can wait in line for a while, and then afterwards go get your beers at the tap. Or you can have someone wait in line, vice versa. And that's one of the things Treehouse does really well. And their brewery is like the most beautiful one that I've been to.
Yeah, that's on that top 10 list too. Hill Farmstead and Alchemist and Treehouse are all on there. No, there's a bunch in New England I want to do too. I have family in Rhode Island, and there's the bar, I forget what it's called, Tilted Barn maybe? Brewery that they're supposedly grow some of their own ingredients too, and it's never worked out when we've been there that they've been open at the same time we were available. But and of course I need to do Portland, Maine.
Yes, Portland. We're all gonna meet up. We can I will show us all where to go, and Jason's going to have to show us all as well. I believe it was Jason who frequently Portland, Maine.
All right.
And I will walk us all around the world at Epcot.
Yes. We have so many bucket list places, but I know one of the questions
we need to start making this happen.
Right?
Yeah.
How do we give away this bomber jacket, though?
Yeah, let's think about it. We'll talk about it. We got a bomber jacket up.
Somebody from beer school. What's the name of the smoked beer from Germany?
The name of the smoked beer from Germany. I'm watching the chat.
In the meantime, I know there's a question posed, how do the viewers get in on the beer exchange if they want in? How can we get them in on some beer exchanges?
Man, that is a great idea. And this all falls back. How come everything circles around a shitty website?
Anybody? I know somebody that
everything focuses.
Experience with websites.
Yeah, so I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to do the dry bag, and actually it's not too dry because I'll send you beer. But if anybody's experienced in website development, especially WordPress, we are taking work for beer donations because we've got a lot of great ideas, as you can imagine, and not too much talent in-house for website development. But definitely, that is on the list. We would love to set up some sort of beer exchange within our website, something that we're not having to track shit on a notebook, pad, and paper. It's kind of easy. WordPress is pretty powerful, but much above any of our heads. I think we've exhausted our brain power that we could, or that we had, and getting to where we had a website again.
Get that going, then absolutely we can set up a beer exchange through our website where we can send each other beer.
Yeah,
so
for
really
sure.
Good idea.
I've just been telling people to slide in my DMs, and like personally, I'll go.
Sounds so dirty.
Much, well, yeah.
It sounds pretty skanky if you ask me.
Hey, boy, slide
like
into my DMs. I'll give you that good.
Hey, that's the college guys.
Beer of all.
Yeah, I love our group here. We kind of got those college kids that are that
I'm
type
in the
of
marketing world, but website design. It looks like Jeff says he can help us. So Jeff, get with us. We can pay you in beer, or let's get together. As Lucky said, slide into our DM.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, because we're in need of a website. That is pitiful that ours is where it's at, but it is.
You get the articles and you get the family, but we want to expand it big time.
But we'll get there.
Like we have good content. It's just it's not being displayed the way it should be. Therefore, it's not reaching the people it should be reaching.
And by displayed the way it needs to be, she's talking about on an Etch-a-Sketch right now.
Listen, we're stuck in the 90s. Somebody please bring us to the 2020. Good God.
It's one of the hardest things I've ever played with. My husband and I were playing with it last night because he does website stuff for his business, and he's like, I don't know what the hell.
Yeah.
Hey,
I think on on one page, as a matter of fact, the background is the same color as the text, so you can't see any text, and I can't figure out how to change either one of them. So it just stays like that. It looks like there's nothing there. I'm like, I know there's writing here. I can see it on the back end. I can see all the articles. I can see all the words that's supposed to be here, but on the page there's nothing. But yeah, we're getting there. We're obviously kind of this push with the live is our first push, but the website is what is our website? Our website is Hops News.
Hopsnews.beer.
Hopsnews.beer. And I will tell you, hopsnews.com was taken for years. I mean, this Hops News thing is not new. It has been going on for a while, probably going on its 4th or 5th year now, that are really set stagnant forever. Hopsnews.com was actually what I wanted. It was taken, and it showed up. I got a notification that it was up for auction probably about a year ago this time, and I was able to snag that as well. So we've got some good branding, some good marketing, some of those sort of things, but we need to get some website development and work on a few other things that we've talked about internally. But I think it'll come around eventually for us. But it's been some interesting chats amongst the four of us. Website is very high on our list.
We're gonna get there, and again, that all comes from just sharing the good word of Hoppy News too.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I will tell you that
good beer. That's what we're good at, is liking good beer and telling you to like good beer.
sharing good beer, and we've got a lot of ideas, and a beer exchange is definitely one of them. I don't think it'll be too difficult once we have the right website set up. But let's talk a little bit about what we have coming up in the coming days, because I will tell you, this
real exciting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it is exciting where we have come, and this is our 4th episode, I think.
I think it's our 5th, maybe.
I think it's 5th.
I can't count
Smash, right?
Oh yeah, because
Yeah,
Smash, you didn't join till the second one, I think.
I missed the first. So I did miss the first one. So I think that this is our 5th one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
but at
awesome.
first we had no schedule. We were just randomly talking and drinking, which is fun.
Yeah, that was
absolutely.
And I will tell you, just a little bit of just being transparent. And I'm not speaking for the rest of the group. I'm speaking for myself. There is literally no money that flows in, but there is roughly about $100 a month in maintaining what we have, and there is no less than 3 hours a day spent in our group chat. Each. That is each. So there is a lot of time, and there is a little bit of resources that we're pushing forth. But I will tell you, we've got a great team, and I say it every week. I appreciate the three of these three that have stepped up and kind of stepped up, and for one, to step in and say, "Hey, man, I'm willing to help," and two, to still be here, because it's not been easy, but we've kind of brought it to where we're doing something on a consistent basis, and we hope to do something a little bit more. And that takes me to what we've got coming up this weekend. I'm pretty excited for this. So the whole premise for me of getting more people involved was twofold, right? Consistent content, right? I think we've kind of done a little bit better with that, and are working on that on a daily basis. And really, two, to have a global reach, because I want to know what is going on in the beer culture around the world.
Yep.
And I think being able to get on some type of media like this and to hear what is going on in other countries in the craft beer space, or beer space period. I don't care if it's craft, to be honest with you. I will drink.
It does not have to be craft beer. Beer is beer.
I will drink a Guinness in Ireland any day of the week and love the hell out of it. And it's not craft beer.
Yep.
It's not anything that we would consider craft beer in the United States, but I'm gonna drink it, and one of these days I'm gonna spend the money to go do that tour, even if it's after I retire. So we have a fourth contributor, a fifth member of our family that has been a member for as long as these three have, due to timing issues, and biggest thing is time, right? She's going to join us Sunday morning, 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. We're going to have Brew Witch on with us from Germany, and I am completely excited to hear and to talk about the beer influences around the world. Hoppy Mommy, what is this documentary? I didn't even write this down, but we mentioned this a week ago, and I think it's something that I definitely want to watch before Sunday, but if anybody else wants to join us, we will definitely take a few minutes to talk about it.
Are you talking about Beer Jesus?
That's it.
Yeah, Beer Jesus. Jesus is a documentary with not Jim Koch, he's from Sam Adams, the other Koch from Stone Brewing. So he decided to open up a brewery not far from Munich in Germany. So the whole documentary is his struggles with opening up the brewery there, you know, and having to go back and forth from, you know, San Diego to here. And just, I mean, trying to appeal to a German audience too, where not that long ago they still had the Reinheitsgebot laws, or, you know, the purity German laws. And, you know, he's trying to expand their taste for beer to an audience that is known for beer. So it's very interesting to see a little bit of a culture crash, and also see him try to open up this brewery. So I don't want to say any more because I enjoyed watching it, not knowing what was going to happen next. But I watched it on Amazon Prime. I'm not sure if you can get it anywhere else, but they've started calling him Beer Jesus. Greg Koch. It's the Greg one, Greg Koch.
Yep. Yeah, so watch the documentary. I'm going to watch it. We'll have something more to talk about. We're also going to drink and try. I think everybody here has the All Together beer, right?
All Together.
Yep.
Lucky, do you have an All Together beer?
I've got to check.
Or did you drink it?
You will slap a
No, I
haven't All Together on a beer.
Yeah, so the All Together beer, if anybody doesn't know, Hoppy Mommy, give us a quick rundown, 2 minutes of what the All Together beer is so people know what to expect of what we're going to do Sunday morning.
So the All Together beer was actually started by Other Half. So it's an IPA. It's either New England or West Coast. It's up to the brewery to decide. And the recipe is free. The label artwork was free. And all the supplies were given to them at cost to the different breweries that wanted to participate. And all the proceeds from the beer can go to that brewery if that brewery needs the money, or it can go to anybody in the hospitality industry in that area. So if there's a restaurant that you know is particularly struggling, that brewery can donate that money to them. They have the choice to do that. But I have a couple of them here, and you can see that they're all the same on one side, and then they got to do their own little artwork on the other side. So let me hold on to it. So here, yeah, All Together.
That's it. That is the beer we all, and if
so this
lucky,
has actually made it a worldwide collaboration. There's breweries all over the world that have participated in this. So it's Brew Witch got a beer, so this will be really cool to all share our All Together beers all over the world.
All right.
Lucky. If you don't have one, I'm sure you can find one in the store. You probably drank it and didn't realize what was going on at 3 a.m, crawling back in the apartment.
That's not where I was going, but yeah, that's probably what happened. I'll double check though. I will double check.
All right, and we're also going to talk about the pink
beer.
Yeah, we're also going to talk about the Pink Boot Society. That's the organization that we're going to donate or try to raise some money for. Tonight was the Restaurant Employees Relief Fund. I haven't been able to check, but I'll check here after we get off here and see if there was any donations. If you did donate, appreciate you.
There was good donations, so thank you everyone for donating.
Nice.
We should answer. There's a question in the chat about how we all met. We should do that before we get off. If we've got
how did we all? Oh yeah, how did Jeff Langer? How did you four all meet?
Craft beer dating site.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. What was the? What's the site that's popular now? What's the site that's popular amongst the college kids? Lucky. What is that? The Swipe.
Tinder.
Which one? Oh my goodness! I'm on like 4 of them.
What's the one that you swipe?
Oh man.
Tinder,
yeah. Craft beer Tinder. No, kidding you. But it's almost like it. Instagram.
I saw it on Instagram. I found it, and I saw the bat signal, so to speak. And so I shot an email. I was like, hey, I like drinking. Might as well make something about drinking. And that's how I got started.
Yep, that was.
Yeah, that was the same. I think that's all of our stories.
It took us probably about a year, I'd say, before we actually got connected. And once Jay Brew put out like, hey, we'd like to get the website going, maybe a podcast. Interested. I think that's when we all really started getting together.
Yeah, that's where it's all happening in our craft beer space right now is Instagram. You can follow us on everything social media. We're at Hops News. at Hops News. All about beer. These three contribute on a pretty regular basis. They're also on there. Speaking of that, share with them where they can find you guys. Hoppy Mommy, go ahead.
I'm on Instagram and Untapped at The Hoppy Mommy.
Lucky, how about you?
I am on both, I believe Instagram and Untapped as Luckman.Nick. I have to double check the Untapped, but I am on there, so please. I think I have like 2 or 3 friends on there, and none of my friends have it, so.
I'm going to go find you right now.
Yeah, right.
What about your Tinder? Where can they find you on Tinder?
On Tinder? Trust me, I'll swipe. I'll find you on Tinder. Please. Don't you worry about that.
That's awesome. Mash, how about you? Where can our viewers find you?
Well, I'm not on Untapped, but I'm on Twitter and Instagram as Matthew Tyler. Yeah, pretty generic name, but I'm there. I'll join Untapped. It's a cool thing the kids are doing, so I will hop on there.
Awesome. And Hops News, like I said, Hops News, at Hops News, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can find us there anywhere. So let's give this bomber jacket away. And I believe I recall who answered the question. Yeah, Brad Eldridge Smith. You're the winner of the coolest bomber jacket.
Confetti.
That is.
I am so jealous, bro.
Man, that is a sweet one this week. And I will tell you, you're not going to have another koozie in your collection that's as badass as this one is. And I don't know if I've shown close enough, but look at that. That is sweet. Indiana Pale Ale flavor, craft beer dinner. That's a pretty cool koozie. So Brad, hit us up. If one of you guys can message him real quick. I don't think he's probably the first one that's not a family member. So if one of you guys can reach out to him real quick and just get his information, we'll get this sent to Brad, just so I can make sure we track him down. Appreciate you, Brad. Hey, we appreciate everybody. Thanks for joining us. We hope you can join us Sunday, 10 a.m. Hoppy Mommy, I'm going to give you an assignment. See if you can reach out to the brewery that did the All Together beer and see if they maybe will call us.
Ooh.
Oh, the original one is Other Half. I can definitely reach out.
Yeah.
They're in New York.
That would be sweet if we could get them on the phone for a couple of minutes just to tell us about that beer and maybe drink it while they're on the phone, because that would be pretty cool. Athletic Brewing, hey, we appreciate you guys. John and Bill, thanks for joining us. I know it was a little bit hectic there in the beginning. We were running just a few minutes late, kind of pressured, so things were a little bit off in the beginning. But definitely appreciate you joining us. Hope we raise some money for the Restaurant Employees Relief Fund. And appreciate you guys joining us. Hopefully see you on Sunday morning. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. I'm almost done. Cheers.
Cheers. I'll see you Sunday.
Spend the night with me.
Sounds a little like Jimmy Buffett.
Spend the night on
Yeah,
me.
a little bit of Buffett-ish. He's all over the place, really.
We're getting better.
Okay, so we're off.
Yeah.
Oh, it says we raised $70.